Hi, I'm Dan Doherty. I'm a small business person in the city of Calgary, an alumni of U of C. Have taught at the University of Calgary and involved in a number of philanthropic boards in the city. To me, I think corporate responsibility and social responsibility is an overused and misused terminology. In fact, what I believe is that a number of leaders or business leaders have to take responsibility and accountability for the actions of their organization. It's too easy to put everything in a big envelope and say that we have a corporate policy or a social policy, responsibility policy. But I think it's up to the leaders of the organization to develop the policies and create a culture that is ethical and one that is accountable to the community that it operates in. I don't think a business themselves can have ethics. I believe that leaders, the people within an organization, are the ethical beings within an organization. An organization, through its leadership, can create an ethical environment where people make the right decisions. But it is always individuals on a day-to-day basis that are making decisions and doing things within the business that are either ethical or not ethical. I believe that people are able today to compartmentalize their lives, and I don't believe that that's the way that we should approach our lives, that there needs to be a congruence between what we believe, how we should operate in our home life, and our social life, and our personal lives, and what we do in business. And I think that there's an easy out or a lack of accountability in individuals who say that, well, that's the culture of my business, or that's how I operate within my business. I wouldn't do that at home. So I believe that there needs to be more congruence today in business than there is. I think people, that's a great, how should individuals be held accountable? Because I think that's what it's all about. It's about people standing up for what they believe in. It's about people making decisions that are ethical and that are for the good of not just themselves individually, but also for the stakeholders within the organization and the community within which they operate. Yeah, absolutely. I think that organizations have been giving back as a marketing tool. They are not actually, in my mind, unless the organization is franchised in with whatever good cause or opportunity they have, that their philanthropy or their giving back to the community should revolve around making good business decisions. And I'll use the oil sands or the Alberta Energy as a good example, where I believe that a good corporate citizen or giving back or philanthropic giving in an organization in Alberta in the oil sands revolves around making sure that they have clean water and clean air around their operation. It's not good enough to put a marketing spin and donate money to different organizations or do marketing talking about the economic impact they have on the province. I think that as individuals within a province, we expect organizations to be good corporate citizens. Best business lesson I learned was kind of midway through my career, and it was about being honest with myself. All through my previous business career or even my educational career, Dan Doherty had a bit of a golden wand. Everything I touched turned to gold, whether it was the sports, the athletics I was involved in, the organizations I was involved in at the university, or the businesses that I started. And it wasn't until the early 90s when I had my PhD in business and I actually had to shut a business down. And that what it taught me was that I can make myself believe in anything, any spin that I put on my business. I can make myself believe that those big sales were going to come in when in fact deep down in my heart I knew that they were a long shot. I would ask for additional credit from a bank when I knew that I couldn't pay for the credit that I had. I borrowed money from family members that I promised them I'd pay them back that I lost when I had to shut my business down. And it's a very difficult lesson to sit down and to be able to be accountable to yourself and understand your role in an organization and being honest with yourself and making good, solid decisions. I absolutely do. I think that we've created an environment and a society almost that it's win at all costs, and that we're very individually focused. We're focused on how do I win, and I believe that with that comes a lack of understanding of the impact of individual actions on people within your own organization and outside the organization. And it's not okay just for you to win and others to lose. Big lesson that I learned, or an organization that I'm very active involved in, is Rotary. And within Rotary we have a four-way test that I actually have on the wall of my office. And that four-way test revolves around four basic principles. The first one, is it the truth? The second one, is it fair to all concerned? The third is, it will build better friendships. And the fourth, is it beneficial to all? And I think if you sit back on any business decision and we're able to analyze any business decision based on those four principles, that you will make much better decisions in the long term. To me, it's another acronym, and I use acronyms a lot, is ACT. And it revolves around what we were just talking about. The first is, within an organization, whether it's a philanthropic organization, a business organization, or in your home, you need to have self-accountability. And that means that it's not okay to blame somebody else. It's not okay to blame external pressures on making a decision. You have to be accountable for the decisions you make and why you make them. The second thing is, it goes back to the issue on congruence with your ethics. And those ethics have to apply across the entire spectrum of your life. And the third thing is that when you're in an organization, it's getting traction. And that means once you understand what you're accountable for, you understand why you're making the decision, or you have that congruence, that there's traction. You make the decision and you make it happen. And out of that, sometimes there's going to be some uncomfortable consequences, or you'll be challenged. But at the end of the day, it's about you acting that's going to make a difference. If I could give one piece of advice to a young Haskayne student, it's primarily to live in the moment. And by that, what I mean is that your ability to understand what's happening around you, and not always driving your decisions and making comments based on what you personally want or need out of a situation. My mom gave me some great advice early on, and it was that I have two ears and one mouth, and that I should listen twice as much as I speak. And that is so important, that you are able to ask questions, to understand where other people's situations are, not just what they're saying, but why they're saying what they're saying, and to make a decision based on that full sense of understanding.